Rachel Reeves missed opportunity to raise £900 million from online casinos. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that Rachel Reeves has missed an opportunity to raise £900 million from online casinos. Labour's links to the gambling industry questions again after the decision not to raise tax for online gambling. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So most people have pretty much gone through the skimming of the budget and all the little details here, and obviously when we watched the speech, no mention was anything about gambling, and there was no mention of it whatsoever within the details of the budget. So why not tax more of the gambling industry? You know, gambling is a dangerous game. Online casinos and the gambling industry rips a lot of people's savings away. It can be addictive, it can be dangerous, it can be soul destroying. And considering how much money the industry makes, why not tax it? Why not tax it? Why not use some of that money to help people when it comes to like people who have gambling addiction, for example? Now, some people may argue in the comments, "Oh, Regan, they're already doing that. They already have like commissions and whatnot to do so. We don't need to We don't need to tax them anymore." And my response to you is, why not? Why not? Especially, why not? Like I always talked about, like we need to raise taxes, yeah, to obviously spend and save. And obviously, everyone's kicking off, and rightly so, about the increasing national insurance employers that will ultimately affect employees and businesses down the line, right? Would you rather more tax on online casinos, for example, on businesses like them, for example? Obviously, it's not the same amount of money. Yes, I'm aware of that, but still, this is still somewhere where money could be raised. I mean, I'll give you a prime example. Imagine if, for example, they raise the money here to help, like, say, for instance, could go towards, I don't know, like keeping our bus fares at the rate that they are now, for example, the bus fare cap at £2 instead of raising it to £3, for example. You know, just as one idea suggestion there. So the gambling industry, you know, people will also argue that it generates money for the economy as well. But for me, it's about the damage that it can have on people. And why have they not chosen to do this? Well, a while ago, Open Democracy had a story on their article. I believe it was on their influence in the Labour government. And we know here on this channel, those who have been following, we know that there have been private businesses and certain people with a certain amount of money have been paying their influence within the Labour government. Now, the question was how much effect, obviously, they would have on them. You know, for example, the £22 billion carbon capture project, which is a big waste of taxpayer money as far as I'm concerned. It's not going to make an ounce of difference to the climate because all you're doing is storing the gas and shoving it away. Well, we know that oil and gas companies have pumped money into the Labour Party. That's just, there's no reasons about it. We also know that there's been lots of gifts and donations to certain members of the Labour cabinet, as well as the Prime Minister himself. We know that's been going on. We also know that Rachel Reeves has been given some certain gifts as well. So again, this comes, you know, this story here highlights just how corrupt politicians can easily be. And we talk all the time about how messed up the Conservatives were. But you're now seeing it in Labour. You know, Labour, who was supposed to be a so-called party of the working people, doesn't feel like that, does it? You know, it is very frustrating, I know. It just feels like, once again, we need to do something to sever this tie between businesses and contractors, private firms, who literally only need to throw money in politicians' faces and giving them gifts or donations, and they literally have to do a favour for them. It's literal bribery. It's legal corruption is what I call it. a term of legal corruption. Because rather than speaking for our issues and our needs, they're doing it for someone else. It's problematic. And it's not just Labour and the Conservatives. You're getting it with you will get this with Reform. And God forbid if Greens ever become a stronger party, people will try to influence their party as well. And it's very worrying indeed. Yeah, until we change the laws on these gifts and donations, there will always be political influence, unfortunately. So Rachel Reeves has been criticised over a missed opportunity to raise £900 million from online casinos in her first budget as Chancellor amid concerns about the Labour Party's ties to the £11 billion a year gambling sector. Now, I know, like I said, £900 million doesn't sound like a lot, and considering how much money's being thrown around in this budget, but still, £900 million is still good money, nonetheless. Both the Liberal Democrats and Derek Webb, one of Labour's largest donors, questioned the Chancellor's rejection of proposals to double remote gaming industry (RGD) levelled on online gaming and chances from 21 to 42%. The policy, initially proposed by the Social Market Foundation (SMF) think tank, was among measures under consideration by Treasury officials. It also had support from Liberal Democrats who wanted to use the money raised, estimated at up to $900 million, to fund health and social care. But Labour, which had previously faced scrutiny over long-standing financial and personal ties to the gambling industry, ultimately decided not to include the sector among the £40 billion of tax increases that included a change on policy on family farms and employer national insurance contribution. The UK's 21% rate of tax on online gaming will remain below that levy in multiple European countries, as well as states in the US, Australia and Canada. The Liberal Democrats Treasury spokesperson Daisy Cooper said that the omission raises serious questions for the Labour government about why they failed to act on the issue. It's particularly worrying that the Chancellor is targeting family farms, GPs, hospitals and small businesses while letting the big gambling companies off the hook. She's not wrong. She's not wrong at all. The Lib Dem leader Ed Davey said earlier a duty rise was an obvious choice for the government. Who wants to tackle our social problems? Reeves also came under fire from leading Labour donor Derek Webb, a former casino game inventor who now backs campaigns for calling for tougher regulations and taxation of gambling. Webb, who is fifth largest backer and also donates to the SMF, said, "I'm disappointed there's been another missed opportunity to constrain the greed of the online gambling sector. It's also a missed chance to win popularity with the wider public, rather than the narrow detrimental business interests," he said, a reference to the pre-budget poll that shows a broad support for increased gambling taxes. The government says gambling taxes, including RD, will be reviewed with a view to simplify them. But sources among those campaigning for higher RGT highlighted that Labour and Reeves have ties to the £11 billion a year gambling sector. Like I said, we know they do. We've heard the stories. The Cokes family, behind the Bet365, have donated hundreds of thousands of pounds to Labour and Keir Starmer's party leadership campaign. Let me guess. There's nothing to see here. It's perfectly legal. There's no conflict of interest. That's what the Labour supporters will say. They're just going to say that. Rachel Reeves' constituency office accepted a combined £30,000 from Richard Flint, a former chief executive of the Leeds-based Sky Betting and Gaming, and Neil Goulton, then a director of Gamesley, the owner of Virgin Games and Rainbow Riches Casino. Yep, nothing here to see here is what the Labour fans will say. Nothing to see here. No conflict of interest. It's perfectly all right. The Chancellor has also previously written of a friendship stretching back to their teenage years with Michael Dugford, the former Labour MP who now chairs the gambling industry's lobby group, the Betting and Gambling and Gaming Council, the BGC. Granine Hurst, the chief executive of the BGC, said, "We have been clear. Any duty risk would have hit customers, prevent growth, risk jobs and bolstered the unsafe, unregulated gambling black market. Government has listened to BCG and our members and got the balance right and rejected calls from anti-gambling prohibitors," said Hurst, a former Ladbrokes executive. A Treasury spokesperson said the government will consult next year on reforming the tax treatment of remote gambling by moving to a single remote gambling duty, aiming to close loopholes, simplify and future-proof the current system. Yeah, because there's nothing to see here, guys. There's nothing to see here. There is nothing to see here. Nothing going on at all, guys. There's definitely nothing going on here at all. Right, okay. Yeah, see. As long as there is money being able to put into these politicians, we are stuck in this loop. Now, I've already said it, but I know it's not. I know it's frustrating. I understand the anger around Labour, but I have to say this. At the moment, the last 14 years we was a lot worse off, and I really do hope that they turn things around, Labour. I say I hope. I know people are already ready to throw Labour under a bus already, but first 100 days, this budget, yes, there were some goods and there were a lot of bads, without a shadow of a doubt, which I've covered. But they will be judged over time. They will be judged on what they do, and we will continue to judge them here, and other people will continue to judge them, and rightfully so. But this is another missed opportunity that the chancellor could have, talking about wanting to raise more money. This is another opportunity they could have taken, and they've chosen not to do it. So what do you guys think? What do you guys make of Rachel Reeves' missed opportunity to raise £900 million from online casinos? Do you think there could have been more money raised here? Or do you think maybe perhaps it's just all people trying to be harsh on the gambling industry? Or do you generally believe that there are links from the Labour Party to some of the gambling industry, as was pointed out in the article below, in the article in the description? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to financially support me and the work that I do here on this channel, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for just 99p, or you can join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.